The following video contains subject matter that others may find distressing. Viewer discretion is advised. In 2022, 798,000 women were sexually assaulted in the UK. That is 1 in 30. The Office of National Statistics, ONS, estimates that 8.5 million people aged between 18 and 74 were abused or witnessed abuse as children. That's 1 in 5. Worldwide, almost 1/3, 27%, of women aged between 15 and 49 years who have been in a relationship report that they have been subjected to some form of physical and/or sexual violence by their intimate partner. That's 1 in 4. 2.8 million, or 8.33%, of 12 to 17-year-olds in the UK reported using drugs in the last month. Almost 35% of children grow up in a single-parent household. 2% of children in the US are being raised by their grandparents. 3% of children end up in care, and around 1% of US teenagers spend some time in group homes. In the United States, suicide rates increased approximately 36% between 2000 and 2022. Suicide was responsible for 49,476 deaths in 2022, which is about 1 death every 11 minutes. The number of people who think about or attempt suicide is even higher. In 2022, an estimated 13.2 million adults seriously thought about suicide. 3.8 million planned a suicide attempt, and 1.6 million attempted suicide. 5% globally suffer from depression, 4% of the population with anxiety, 1.6% of the population has BPD, 2% have ODD, 1.8% have HPD, and less than 1% have NPD. 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness. 1 in 20 adults experience serious mental illness. Hey guys, I was going to write an eloquent little speech filled with scientific evidence and information about how trauma affects individuals, or how the only way to truly recover from trauma is to seek help or to work on yourself. But that's not befitting of the frame of mind I'm currently in. You see, I'm fed up. Maybe unjustifiably so, or maybe my level of being pissed off is a good reason. So I'm just going to talk and hopefully get my point across. You see, I'm tired. Mentally tired of how some people justify being, well, for want of a better word, complete arseholes. Because they've had a hard life, or a bad childhood, or because they've seen or heard or experienced some shit. Everyone has had something happen to them in their life that they would consider, to varying degrees, as traumatic. You grew up poor. You're still poor. You were bullied at school. Bullied at home. Someone did something to you that you didn't consent to. Somebody hurt your feelings. Somebody physically hurt you. You've been betrayed. Your parents failed you. You trusted someone who you shouldn't have trusted. You ran with the wrong crowd. Someone special died. Someone special didn't think you were special in return. If you paid attention to the horrific statistics that I started this video with, I hope that you can appreciate that shit things happen to people every second of every day, of every week, of every month, and do you know how many of these people will later turn around and use their trauma as an excuse to be a fundamentally unpleasant human being? Well, I don't actually have statistics, but I'm betting it's actually surprisingly few. You see, the things that happen to you, the things that have shaped you, who you are as a human being, the things that made you who you are, explain your character and behaviour, but they do not excuse your character or behaviour. especially if your character is shit and your behaviour is even worse. Having a shitty history doesn't justify abusing and mistreating others. You have a brain. You know right from wrong. You understand consequences. Do you want to know why I became so interested in you initially? Because, like it or not, you and I are very similar. Were very similar. In terms of history and life experiences, we have an awful lot in common. At one point in my life, I would have been that girl at the party alongside you, binge drinking, making a fool of myself, and hooking up with whoever showed me just the slightest bit of interest. I was right there with you. I understood what you were going through. I knew why you were the way you were. I sympathised. I understood why you lied, the fabrications, the exaggeration, because I knew where it came from. The feeling that you simply wasn't good enough or interesting enough to be liked for just who you were. Part of you thought that everyone believed you as well, and that you were admired and people actually envied you. Oh God. When I look back, I can't believe that was what I thought as well. Poor self-esteem and being taught by experience, by society, by others, that the only thing you had to offer anybody else, particularly men, was your body, that the only value you had was sexual, meant that you had to be that girl everyone looked at, but as it turned out, looked at for not the reasons you thought. There are also a lot of differences between us too, obviously, and that is why we are where we are and who we are currently. I live almost in a state of fear for hurting people, be it emotionally or psychologically, not even in defence. I avoid conflict like the plague. Basically, I'm not confrontational, not on my own behalf anyway. I can get a tad bit bitchy defending others, or when I'm trying to correct an injustice or two. Also, how I feel about everything that's happened to me, all the shit, all the trauma. You see, I learnt from it. It made me who I am, and who I am is someone who will go out of their way to make sure that nobody else experiences what I've gone through, if I can help it. And if they do, or that they can come to me for help or support or to be comforted. My trauma made me stronger, made me quieter, made me mature. I don't blame anyone for what happened to me. This is just life. It never was supposed to be easy. This is why I don't believe that you can use the things that have happened to you to justify being so full of hate and spite. Yes, the things you experience do explain why your mental health is so poor and why you struggle so much. But it's not an excuse for you to continue allowing it to control you so much. It's your decision not to have gotten or to get professional help that you need, or to make an effort to work on yourself. It's your fault you haven't gotten better, nor recovered, nor moved on. You choose to be a victim of your past, your present, and your future, and there's no one to blame but yourself. Millions of people every day go through life-changing events, and very few of them will let these events change the way to see the world into something quite so dark as you have. I truly hope that you can find the strength to move past your past and to grow from your present. It's not over until it's over.